What's up, and welcome back to Cleats to Whistle podcast. I'm Brad Valdez.
I'm Brandon Meredith.
And I'm Dakota Waldridge.
And we have a special guest today. And you know what? Just introduce him, Dakota.
I get to introduce
Yeah,
this one?
do the honors.
So, standing here, well, more like sitting here to my right, some may call him a mechanic, others may call him a old devil dog, some may call him a pain in the rear end. I mean, there's a lot of things that this man goes by. But I, ladies and gentlemen, have the privilege to call him my father, the one, the only A.J. Waldridge.
Yes, welcome. Give him let's go. Hey, it's an honor to have you here, though, AJ. And can I call you AJ? I was just going to call you Pops.
Pops, AJ. I've been called many things. Some of them we won't repeat.
So, yeah, welcome. It's an honor to have you on. You know, Dakota, man, he talks about you all the time. And it's just to have another football guy in here, right?
And especially after last week, like we kind of got into our feelings a little bit and talking about what the game meant to us, and now he's here getting to introduce his dad and sit down and just have a chat with him.
Yeah. And this was supposed to be the beginning of the father-son, basically a few episodes. But with that being said, we kind of had to take a step back with that. But I'm just glad we have you on. Just because, man, you raised a good one right here, man.
Well, thank you. His mother and I did it together.
Oh, hey, you got to shout her out, right?
Yeah, we'll just to get to know me, I'll bring one thing up right up front. One of the reasons I've been able to do the things that I have done in my life is, first of all, my Lord and Savior. Second of all, I have a wonderful wife that's put up with me, supported me, and, sometimes kicked me in the butt a little bit when I felt like I didn't want to go. She'd spur me on. And I got to give props to her and my Lord and Savior up front.
There you go. I love it, man. But you know what? This guy's a new dad here. You know what I mean?
Oh,
You got like one piece of advice that's, 17-month-old twins.
Yeah, he has twin girls.
Yeah, give him a little piece of advice.
Yeah. Well, the wife's always right off the bat. No matter what, do your best to keep her happy. And, the old saying, if mama happy, everybody happy.
Well, mama better be happy after what I did this weekend for her.
Okay. There you go.
There you go. Let's go. Hashtag what's in the cup already. Hey, it's starting off with a banger already.
Let's just say she needed a new vehicle, and Papa provided for her this week.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Happy wife, happy life, like you boys say.
Happy wife, broke dad.
I love that picture when you sent it to the group chat.
Hey, that's what you're working for.
For sure.
You can try to save that stuff up, man, but it's just going to go away. You're providing for your family. And, if I had back all the money I spent providing for my family, I might be up there with Donald Trump right now. But you know what? I got wonderful kids. I've had a wonderful life. And I'm just glad that, the means was there to provide. And, that's just where I'm at.
There we go. Let's go, man. So we got some housekeeping that we need to announce. The phone and text line will be available in February. We are going to drop it on Twitter, and actually it's going to be on the member site part of the YouTube page too as well. So that's $5.99, and you'll be able to get that and just be part of the pack, man. Hey, we're rolling, but we're a man down.
Yeah, we're a man down today, unfortunately.
Yeah,
kind of last second.
HIPAA laws. We can't say nothing. HIPAA laws.
Missing the big fella today. That's about all we can say.
Hey, that's our injury report, right? We're like the NFL. Can't say anything. Don't want to disclose.
Questionable to return.
I was just going to say, from the report, questionable to return. Don't know.
I was looking forward to meeting the guy. I've been watching him on the podcast and stuff, and just really looking forward to meeting him, see exactly how tall he really is. 'Cause I'm a short fella, so you don't have to be too tall for me to look up to you. But I was looking forward to meeting him, and unfortunately he fell ill and not able to make it. But maybe another day.
There we go. Hey, the boys are back, man. This is a good one, man. And this is, we get to see like a little, spitting image basically of this guy, man.
Oh, you have no idea how many people tell me I look like him. They're like, the amount of family members are like, man, you look just like your daddy. I'm like, I hope so if he's my daddy. What else am I supposed to look like?
Oh, good stuff.
There's some resemblance, I'm sure. You know, he is my child, but he ain't got the hair I had.
Okay, that's true.
You know, in my younger day, I got really curly, kinky hair. You know, I put a little spray on it and brush it back. I can hold it down. Back in the day, I had an afro like you would not believe.
This is true. I'm looking for the picture right now.
I love it.
Yeah, you know, when they were in, man, disco era.
Oh, nice.
Big hair. Yeah, I had it going on.
Let's go. I love it.
Oh, wow.
Hey, we'll have to put the pic in right here so you guys can see it.
He didn't get the curly hair.
No, he didn't.
No, I didn't get it like he
You
did.
got the thin, little thin hair, straight hair, man. That's it.
Yeah, that was me. I think that was my sophomore year.
Yeah, this was your sophomore year from what you told me.
Wow. Okay. Well, hey, you got your dad here. You know what I mean? That's pretty special, man. Did the guy started Spencer County football back? You know, there's so many things that he did. You know, you having to, live in the shadow of him, basically, or what? Or did you played some
No.
ball though, man?
I was going to say, for me, the whole time I always played football growing up. And it's funny because I've told him this. For me, it was kind of like what we alluded to last week. I always wanted to represent him and show everybody that I was proud to be his son. That the reason I'm doing everything I'm doing as fast as I'm doing it, as hard as I'm doing it, with the passion I'm having to do it, it's because he started it, and I wanted to stand up to the standard and maybe exceed it at some point. Like, that was my whole philosophy when I played football. It's like, he started it, well, guess what? I'm about to finish it. He set the goal, oh, we're going to get past that goal. That was my whole kind of mantra and mentality was, I've got a standard that I got to keep up with because he started it, and if it's not for me, who else is going to do it?
Right.
You know, when we were in youth league, he was my coach, and he hated being my coach.
I did.
Yeah, I was going to say he hated being my coach, which is funny because most people are the exact opposite. But I remember everyone when I was in youth, Pee Wee football, they're like, hey, let Dakota be the quarterback. Let Dakota be the quarterback. And he would not let me be the quarterback till I proved to him in practice like 4 or 5 times that I wanted to be the quarterback. And then the very next year I wasn't the quarterback. He put me at fullback the very next year. Like
I never let him play quarterback. He wasn't a quarterback. You know, it's just the way it was.
That's called being a coach.
That's exactly.
You got to wear different hats.
here
I'm
was
dad
the-
here, but I'm coach here.
Yeah. Here was the thing. He knew all the plays, inside out, upside down, and backwards. And he knew every step every player was supposed to make on every play. But he was not capable of playing the quarterback position. It wasn't nothing to do with his intelligence about the game. He just, certain players fit in certain areas, and he wasn't a quarterback.
There you go. He knew his role.
And
You knew his role before he did.
no, yeah.
He played linebacker on defense, and he was playing in the backfield, fullback position, offensively.
There we go.
That's those are the areas he fit. He had the physicality for that. He had the ability for that. Quarterback, don't play the kid at quarterback just because he's your son. Look at everybody you got on the team, figure out which one of them have the ability to play that position, and put him there.
There we go.
That's the way you got to do it.
There you go, Coach. I love it, man. That fires me up. This guy's a quarterback. He's a quarterback guy. Hey, congratulations. I know we're jumping around a little bit, but man, hey, your guy signed this week.
Yes.
Yeah. KP is going to Lindsey Wilson. Funny enough, after we wrapped up last week, he actually called me out of the blue to kind of be like, hey, Lindsey kind of came through with a pretty big push. And I'm, just looking out for him, being hesitant, like, hey, don't just jump right now. Let's make a list. And wife and I went down, kind of typed out a little thing for him, pros and cons.
For
the 3 he was really looking at, and he ended up committing. So signing day, I believe, is like next Wednesday, and he ain't changing his mind. He's locked in.
Let's go. So, hey, congratulations, KP. I love it for you, man. Man, I respect that kid and just the growth. Him as just being a young man right now. You know what I mean? At this time, and just having the head on his shoulders, man, stand up guy.
Oh,
man.
he's tougher than a $2 steak. and I ain't had a $2 steak either. Like Watson said, but he's just a tough kid. He's very resilient.
Look at him. He's sitting in the big fellas.
stealing his phrases and everything. I'm coming for your job, Watson.
Let's go. Hey, this is going to be the full-time guy right here. I love it, man. But, hey, we're just, like I said, man, we got so much stuff happening right now. Like I said, the phone and text lines coming in February. And this is for you to have the opportunity to be part of us, be part of the pack, man. I keep calling us the pack because it's like I think we're growing.
Oh, yeah.
Not
that pack.
and also, we had, and this is like off, like behind. This is producer stuff. We had a young man hit us up. You know what I mean, and wanted to join the podcast. Today was supposed to be his first day. He's not here, so let's do some on air. Production behind the scenes stuff. Real quick. With him not being here, you know what I mean. Is that like a learning spot for him, right? To come here and try to interview for the job, and he didn't really show up today.
That's not a good sign.
No, it's not a good sign. So with him playing,
should have been 15 minutes early.
Yeah, playing that 6 card. You know what I mean? Do you guys buy that or what?
I don't know. My thing, it's kid, so you always kind of give him a second chance,
right?
And then that's about it. You want to teach him a lesson at the same token,
right?
But it is a job interview, kind of.
Yeah, it kind of was.
You're kind of putting your name on the line, and it's the same as these colleges offering these scholarships. Like, do I trust you to represent the brand?
Yes.
And I don't know.
I don't know the kid. I don't know the situation. You never know the situation. Most of the time when somebody lets somebody down or they don't follow through, they always have an excuse. But you know what they say about excuses.
Everybody has one.
I'm just the kind of guy, if this was what he really wanted, he would be here.
Right.
Somehow. Or he would call and let you know if something went on. If you didn't get that call, I'm questionable.
There you
like
go.
I say, he's going to wear your brand. If he's going to represent you, you want somebody that's going to be responsible, show up when they say they're going to show up, do what they say they're going to do. Like I said, I don't know the kid, and I don't know what kind of excuse you're going to get, but you got your phone number. Does he know it?
Yeah, he got phone number, email, everything. So,
okay. So you should, if he wasn't going to show, you should have been contacted.
There we go. And okay, your take, Dakota.
And he already said it. He basically put everything. You're gonna get a lot of that heads up here on this on this episode today. He's gonna say something. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, ditto. Just repeat that again.
Yeah, just put it in parentheses. Hey, what he said. And that's, that's just, if you guys email us, if you guys, reach out to us and you want an opportunity, we're here for it. You know what I mean? We want to give the young men opportunity, if they really want to be a part of it. But this is just a warning shot. You know what I mean? Like you said, we're going to do it on air just so we're transparent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really wanted to just get your feel on that.
Like I said, I think everybody deserves a second chance, but communication is key. So, maybe, hey, we said, we agreed you were going to be here. You weren't. I'll give you one more shot. If you burn me again, then we're gonna have to move on and
move forward.
Yeah, especially when everybody's got one of these in their pockets nowadays. It's like, if you're not feeling good, you can text somebody. I mean, Kevin texted us and said, "Hey, sorry, y'all, I won't be here." Like,
right.
Communication's key, especially in this world nowadays. If you
right.
can't communicate, yeah, that's not good for you.
Okay, all right.
Younger generation, take note.
We don't want to get on philosophies because I'm gonna, in the world today, I agree. People need second chances if you made a mistake the first time. But no action is not making a mistake.
There you go.
That's just my way of looking at it.
I love it. That's
not making a mistake.
Hey, we might. Hey, Watson, you might have lost out, Watson. We might have our fourth guy right here. So.
I'll start giving him the producer tag.
Yeah.
Talent now.
I'm just, if you say you're going to do something, do it. Even if you say, well, I said I was going to do it, I don't know if I can do it the right way, but I'm still going to do it.
There you go.
I might mess it up. I might goof it up, but I'm going to go do it. I said I would.
There you go. Hashtag what's in the cup, man. This is a good time already, man. Fired up. We have an hour of just us having an open floor conversation, but we have the guy right here that really put his imprint on Spencer County, right? You know, you bring football back. You gave me a great story, right, about this little tiny trophy.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it was just an inspiration that you're like, that fired me up to make me want to bring football back to this school.
Right.
You know, the impact that you've made on a lot of kids' lives. You know, we wouldn't have Marksberry right now.
No.
Right? So talk about, you know what I mean, why you wanted to bring football back.
Well, for me, football began when I was in the 8th grade. I loved the sport prior to ever actually playing it. I lived in Spencer County all my life up until the 7th grade when my mom remarried and we moved to Washington County. I wanted a football for Christmas when I was in the 5th grade, and everybody wondered why. You know, it was something about the game that drawed me to it. You know, my stepdad, he was a big fan of the Cowboys. I loved the Packers because he loved the Cowboys. So, but anyway, you know, it was something about the sport. I felt drawn to it, like it would fit me. So, you know, my first opportunity to play was in middle school at a little old school up in Washington County called Willisburg Elementary School. I had played basketball for them when we moved up there, and the guy coached football team. He come up to me one day. He said, "AJ, you want to play football for me?" And I'm like, I like football, but I don't know how to play. He said, "Good, I can teach you how to play." And he said, "Some of these boys I can't teach how to play because I already think they know how." And but anyway, went out for the team. Ended up being running back. Loved it. Loved the contact. Loved the physicality. Loved to get out there and mix it up. I was a country boy at heart. Loved to mingle, wrestle, carry on. You know, in football, just filled a void in me. I was kind of an angry kid because of some of my life situations, and football gave me an outlet for it. You know, that didn't get me in trouble. You know, I could go out there and be rough, and it didn't cause no problem, and let me release some of that pent up energy that I had. You know, went on through high school, played football for the Washington County Commanders. You know, great seasons up there. Had great coaches that were an inspiration in my life. You know, guys that meant a lot to me. So much so, my head coach, Jimmy Reed, I have a son that's named in honor of him. Because Jimmy Reed stepped in and was a father figure to me when I didn't have a father figure in my life. You know, when he said, "I love you, AJ," I believed it. And, you know, he took care of me.
That's powerful. That's powerful when a coach, you know what I mean? Because let me take you back, because when you hung up with KP, you know what I mean? It's like, "I love you," you know what I mean? And you hung up that phone. You know what I mean? It's that last moment. But that's the bond that you create when you're coaching this game of football. And man, it fires me up
but
hearing
it was
that.
you know, football, the brotherhood of it. You know, the locker room, the practices. Every one of you out there, you're sweating. You know, sometimes you're suffering. 2-a-day practices. You know, and just that camaraderie that you get out of the game, and the fact that or I learned real quickly, you know, one great player does not make a team. It took everybody to win. Everybody had to do their part to win, and I just love that. It's team sport, and you know, the passion that I had for it in school when I was in high school, it stayed in me. And when I got out of school, graduated, I went in the Marine Corps, was there for a while, got out, come back, and I joined the workaday world. There were a few attempts at getting football into Spencer County school system over the years. You know, a group of guys get together, try to approach the board, try to approach the superintendent, hey, let's do football. And, you know, we get all these reasons why they couldn't do it. And then we just drop it. And, you know, it was in 1999. There was a group of people come to me, and they had some kids that was playing youth football in other counties because we didn't have a youth football program either. And
Oh, wow. So 99, you guys didn't have youth or anything.
No.
There was no
There was no
football.
football in Spencer County. You couldn't find a football
Since
in Spencer
1946, there was no football.
County. So
Wow.
the deal was,
Wow.
you know, they come to me because I had played football, and for some reason, it seemed like everybody knew I played football.
Probably because they knew you wanted one in 5th grade, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, he's the one dude that likes football."
I was approached by a group of people, and they said, AJ, we've heard that, you know, you were on these groups of people before that were trying to present football to the county school system, get them to adopt it and everything. Said, you know, would you be willing to work with us and try to help us get it done? And I'm like, well, you know, yeah, I will. You know, I've done it before. We'll do it again. I said, but I can almost tell you before we ever start, they're going to shoot it down. They're going to give you all these reasons why they can't do it. But anyhow, we set up, we approached the board with it, and, you know, it was not the usual thing. The superintendent of the school at the time, David Nedrose, he was kind of wanting to make it happen. He was close to retirement, and I think that he might have thought, you know, it's time to do it. I'm about to retire. Maybe we can get this done. So he did do some research and present some things to the board, but the board, I don't know, you know, when you get fixed in your ways, you don't want to change.
Yeah.
And they think, oh, we got baseball, we got basketball, that's enough. You know, we don't need football. It's just another expense. We don't have the money. You know, all those reasons that they put up. And, you know, I went to the board meetings, I carried on with them forever, but it got swept under the rug that year. No football. So in 2000, we formed, because I told the people, I said, listen, the only way we're going to get football into the school system is we got to start ourselves a youth football program, build a following, and then take all these people and put pressure on the board members, because each one of you live in a certain district of Spencer County. Each one of you have your own board member. And I said, what you need to do is sit and type you up an email and send them that email once a month. Tell them why you want football in Spencer County. And I said, we get the youth league started, and we start showing them that people will support this program, and that's going to help us get it off the ground. So we organized the Spencer County Youth Football Association. And I was elected as president, and just because I talk loud and I wouldn't take no for an answer.
And you can talk, man.
But,
That's what it is.
And anyway, you know, that first year we did fundraisers. You know, the first fundraiser we ever did, we set up a little coffee shop selling donuts and coffee at the Spencer County Homecoming Parade that year. I took $500 of my own money. I went and bought a bunch of T-shirts. And I had printed on the front of them, Spencer County football. And everybody's like, well, you got Spencer County football. We don't have football. I said, look at the word on the back, capital letter. Yes, we want football. So
Let's go.
I was standing on the intersection down there on 155 in the middle of July with shoulder pads, a football jersey, and a football helmet, and a bucket. Collecting money. Put money in my bucket. Give me your change. I don't need bills. Give me whatever you got. Just a handful of change, whatever. You know, we're gonna take this. We're gonna make a football. We're gonna get a football program in Spencer County. So we selling the shirts. You know, and I'm happy to say the $500 I spent on the shirts to begin with, I had to go back and get more shirts. Because they kind of took off.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're making money back off the shirts. We're doing these little fundraisers and everything. So we start getting some money together. And, you know, everybody's like, well, who are we going to play? And I'm like, I don't know, but we'll figure it out. And I got to say a word again. You know, there were so many times during this process I would get frustrated and feel like quitting. But I pray to God, you know, God, help me get this done. You know, help me do this. And it seemed like I always figured it out somehow. And it worked out.
Yeah.
You know, they say, oh, you got to have bylaws. I'm like, I don't know nothing about no bylaws. I'm a country boy. What do you mean bylaws? So I go to other youth league programs. I'm like, let me see bylaws. I want to see what y'all got. So I take what they got, I read it, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I look at theirs, and I read that, and I read this, and I read that one. And I'm like, okay, this will fit us, this will fit us, this will fit us. I start putting pieces together. And we come up with the bylaws, and, you know, we have sign-ups that fall in 2000 and 2001.
2001 was the first season.
And everybody like,
For the youth league.
we really going to have football. I like, yeah, we're going to have football. You know, we having sign-ups. We're going to have football. And I was getting that question from a lot of the board members that were on our board that never showed up to the board meetings that were the same time every month. They quit showing up. And, you know, it was kind of me and my wife. And over times, I was like, you know, and she's like, nope, keep going. She pushed me along. And I got to give props to her again and the good Lord above, you know, because over time, I'm like, I don't know if I can make this happen.
Not going to make it happen, yeah.
But anyway, you know, we had that first year, and I'll never forget the first day of practice. I look up now, I got like 4 12-year-olds. I got a handful of 7-year-old kids over there. You know, I don't have enough of any age
to make a team,
to
yeah.
make a team. But I'm like, look, the year before that, we cut all the weeds and the bushes on our practice field that we had, and I said, we got to make ourselves visible. So we got to clear out all them bushes and all them weeds so when people ride by the road, they're going to look over here and see what we're doing. You know, people going to see it, people going to come, people going to ask questions. That's how we're going to get people signed up. So anyhow, by the time we got ready to start the season, we had enough kids at each age group. We had 3 teams that year, the 7th and 8th grade, 5th and 6th grade, and 3rd and 4th grade, our first year. And we went out and we played hard. We were competitive in some games. Some of them we just got blown out. But we had a season. And people started to pay attention. You know, we had some support. We had a game that we scheduled, I called J-Town Youth League. And I'm like, we need a game for this day, this time. And it was the homecoming thing again, which marked the first year we had our first little fundraiser.
Okay.
So, you know, we're gonna try to make a big deal out of this. You know, we're going to put on a show because town's going to be full.
Yep.
I want a football game that night. And team from J-Town White, I think it was.
Yeah,
time,
that sounds about right.
he agreed to come play us. And, you know, the crowd was phenomenal, man. I mean, you know, and it gave me us the opportunity to show that people would support it.
Right.
You know,
right.
This is a little league football game, and we probably got 600 people around there watching this football game.
All in lawn chairs because there's not a single
we
bleacher
didn't have
anywhere.
No bleachers anywhere. Only lights we had was the old lights off the baseball field, which only lit up about half of the football field we had made up. But, you know, we did it. We had a game. It didn't matter. And we proved that people would support it. Well, the following year, you know, we add on the Little League team with the smaller teams. So we got 4 teams going now. And we got schedules for all these teams, and we come out and we're competitive, you know, and teams that were just whooping us up the year before ain't whooping us up no more.
I was gonna say, you got to tell them about the Frankfurt game.
Oh, the Frankfurt game.
Okay,
yeah.
okay, but
Well,
before
hold on, yeah.
before this, you know what I mean? I was thrown off because Dakota sends me. He's the creative design, so he sends me all the thumbnails and
yeah.
And then he put father of Spencer County football, and it was just like, am I reading that? I almost text you,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But hearing this and just really understanding, like, that little trophy inspired you to do what you just did. Yeah. And it's just amazing how when I almost text you, like, is this the right thumbnail?
No, it was funny because I sent that to my mom, and I'm like, I know someone's going to complain about this because they're going to be like, father of Spencer County football, what are you talking about? I'm like, if you know the story, which you all just heard, him and my mother are the father and mother of Spencer County football. They gave birth to it. You know, they had 7 kids. Well, Spencer County football is the 8th. That's the way I always looked at it.
Every kid that's ever played down there that I was affiliated with in any way, shape, form, or fashion, whether I was coaching the age group that they were in or the age groups below or above, it didn't make no difference. They were all a part of my family. Football's family. Always has been, always will be. You know, there's a testimony to that I'll bring up maybe later on if we have time. But back to the story, football became popular in Spencer County. The youth football program started to make itself known. And talking about the Frankfurt game, our senior team the year before, our very first year, we went up. We had a game scheduled up with Frankfort 2nd Street. You know, they were a pretty good little football program, no doubt. So we go up there to play them with our 7th and 8th grade kids. They give us a butt whooping like you ain't never seen. I was 75-0. And,
I was only 3 at the time, Dad.
The parents are upset that we scheduled that game, and I'm like, listen, you know, this is our first year. There's going to be mistakes. This boat's going to have leaks in it. We got to put our fingers in the hose and hold the water back until we can figure out what we got to fix. You know, I didn't realize they were a team that was willing to play us. And I'm trying to get a schedule set up for these 3 age groups out of here and there and here and there and everywhere. And thank God for the Bullitt County Youth Program because they gave us a lot of games. And I got games with Carroll County, Frankfort, Owen County. I mean, I'm digging around everywhere trying to get a schedule for all 3 of these teams.
Right.
And we scheduled Frankfort 2nd Street. And I don't know who gave me the guy's number, but he's like, yeah, we'll give you a game. No problem. And we go up there and we get a good butt whooping. And, okay, we took a butt whooping. Very next year, I'm going through, I'm setting on the schedule. I called a guy at Frankfort 2nd Street. I'm like, hey, give us a game? Yeah. When you want it? I said, first game of the season. Okay. So we'll set this up. So I got Frankfort 2nd Street for the first game of the season.
Yeah.
These parents are not happy with AJ. I'm telling you, man. They were like, what? You're gonna, I said, listen, you don't know how much better you got till you face that giant again. We're going to go back up there. We're going to play football with them again, and we're going to figure out what we've got better at. That's what we're going to do.
Right.
Now, we might get another butt whooping. We might compete. We're going to figure out where we are. This is our measuring stick right here because everybody here has agreed that last year that was the best team we faced. So we're going to go back. We're going to face those guys again. We're going to see how much better we've got. So we go back, first game of the year, we play them again. The highest scoring football game probably ever in the state of Kentucky, maybe the nation. The final score was 98-87.
Oh, my gosh.
And there's a VHS tape at home of this.
Wow.
Let's go.
The one thing we figured out is we figured out how to work our offense, but our defense was horrible.
We needed Kevin Watson over there.
Sounds like there wasn't a defense on the field on either side.
They figured out the same thing. Their defense wasn't no good neither.
Right.
But offensively, we had improved. And those parents, even though we lost that game, but you would have thought we won the Super Bowl at the end of that because those parents were so excited to see the improvement in the ability of their child to play the sport, having had 1 year of experience and then some more coaching and just turn them around like that. And in that second season, I think we played 14 games and won 8 of them. And then the rest of them were right there.
I'm just curious.
We didn't get blown away.
I'm curious, how many teams are in the Spencer County Youth League program now?
Okay, they've got from flag all the way up through 5th and 6th grade. 7th and 8th grade was taken over by the middle school program, which I was a part of that kind of in the beginning. They are now playing with the Mid-Kentucky Youth Football Association, which is Spencer County, Nelson County, Bardstown, Taylor County, some of the Hardin County schools.
Washington County is also a part of that.
Washington County.
True.
We started that, or I got into that actually through Chuck Abel.
Yeah. The old superintendent at
Superintendent at Spencer County School. He was from Washington County, and he had dealt with that area a little bit because his son played at St. Dominic, which was in Washington County. And when St. Dominic still had a team, they were involved with that group, and it kind of formed up and became the Mid-Kentucky Youth Football Association.
Wow.
So that kind of grew out of it, too, and that's where the middle school is at today, playing in that same area with Nelson, Marion, and all of them.
All the teams.
Everybody else.
So do you, like, sit back with your wife now and, like, driving past, or maybe you still go to the games or anything, but do you, like, just see, man, like, we started and we had 17 kids that were 5, 6 different ages, and now look at it.
Yeah. Oh, we go to the games, the youth league games that are in town. We got our own facility. It belongs to the Spencer County Youth Football Association. We got our own field, our own press box, concession stands, practice areas. All of that's come out of the success of the program. One thing I will tell you, and this is something I love this part of it. Our whole goal, and it's in our mission statement, is to get football in the school system. That was part of our mission statement. So when the school board finally cracked and decided with a guy named Larry Holt came in as superintendent, and he went to the board and he said, listen, I'm tired of hearing the reasons why we don't have football. I want to know what it's going to take to get it. That was his word to the school board.
Right.
So then, okay, the school board says, hey, this superintendent's football's going to happen. So let's see what we can do to make it happen. So they do agree to adopt a program. One of their excuses before was we don't have the goalpost. So me and a buddy of mine, he has some connection with LG&E. We go down, we buy a bunch of scrap gas line. They dug out of the ground. They ain't allowed to reuse it. So we pattern it out. We make goalposts. And I take them down to the Spencer County, was a soccer field at the time, which we had to do some demolition on the soccer field and scoot some things around a little bit to get it squared in. I had a buddy of mine that was, he's passed away now, but he was a surveyor. So I said, man, we want to get this field shot in straight. We want it shot in square. I want to know right where to put these goalposts. And will you do this for me? And he's like, yeah, I'll do it. Well, I went to the board and told him I can get this done. And he's like, well, he ain't never done nothing for us. I said, you going to do it for me? We're going to get it done. So we build the goalpost, me and a buddy of mine, Woody Smith, and we weld them up, get them all put together. We haul them out there on 2 old hay wagons. And, when we have a field goal post raising party, all the kids, the youth league kids, got a shovel in their hand. We out there digging a hole to put them in the ground. And it was the kids that play football that's digging this hole, to get these goalposts set up. And we got them up, and the IMI concrete people, they say, yeah, we'll donate concrete to pour around them. Okay, we're going to have them ready to pour concrete around on this day. And next thing you know, we got goalposts standing up down there on an old soccer field. So the price of goalposts was no longer an issue. That was taken care of.
It's really cool.
And I'm just saying, if anybody,
stories.
I'm just saying, and before anybody doubts this, let me show them. If anybody doubts that he was the one that put them up, they redid the field and everything not too long ago at the high school when they built the new facility. They've now taken those field goal posts and put them on the practice field. Well, this here is the concrete that was at the bottom. You see AJ and Woody Smith's name in the concrete. That little handprint is mine.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
But,
and we'll put the pictures in here so you guys can see it. That's awesome.
Yeah, we knocked out the reasons the board kept coming up with. We can't do it. In 2003, they finally agreed to have a football team, youth program, a lot of people with the youth program. I can't say everybody's name, man. It's just a group of great people got together, kept pushing, and we pushed until we popped that pimple, and they decided, yes, we need football in Spencer County. And you might say from here, the rest is history. They had some struggles early on. They had some decent seasons. They had some seasons where they weren't so good, had some flip-flop coaching issues. Marksbury come along, and, one of the great things about Marksbury is he's the constant. He's been there ever since. And, the kids coming in as freshmen, they know what to expect. They learning it when they get there, and they got 4 years of it, and that right there helps have a successful program. And I Coach Marksbury, I thank God we got him because he's been there, he stayed there. I'm his biggest fan and his greatest critic. I even tell him that. Sometimes I like to sit back and look at what he does and question the call. But that's just football in me.
This is an honor. This is what this podcast is built on, to tell the stories that you guys would never hear outside of Spencer County, and that's what fires me up, is because I get why you're so in love with Spencer County. You know what I mean?
You all inadvertently, and as soon as I showed up, I wrote down 3 things that had kind of been on my mind all day that I was planning on asking. You've already answered all 3 questions.
What were the 3 questions out of curiosity?
Okay, there's one that I still want to get to. But if you were to start a program, what were the top 3 things you need to do first? Be persistent, raise some money. You kind of hit some points there. And then just kind of the relationship you have with football and your children.
Well, one of the schools that kind of I was approached by a guy named Fred Puckett from Gallatin County.
Oh.
Gallatin County didn't have a high school football program. And he contacted me, and we just kind of fed back and forth. I told him, because we were still our youth football program. We hadn't got it into the high school yet, but we were pushing for it. And actually, he and I talked, and he's like, man, we're trying to get a program up. What can we do? Blah, 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 blah. And I gave him contacts that I had. And I said, call these people. They'll give you games. And I remember one thing he told me. He said, well, would you give us a game? And I said, yeah, we'll play you once there and once here. He said, we don't have a field. I said, do you have a cow pasture? And he's like, what? I said, do you have a cow pasture, a good flat cow pasture anywhere that we can go play football on? And he's like, well, yeah, I could probably find a place. I said, you find us a place to play, and we will come and give you a home game, because I'm going to tell you something. The only way you're going to get your community to support it is play it at home. You can't always be traveling. Show them what you've been talking about. Show them what you want to make happen for these kids. And we went up there and played them in the middle of this old field that actually ended up being part of their, this is weird, their new high school football field is where we played at. And today, the Gallatin County High School, they built a new school, and the field that we played on is almost exactly where their high school field is today.
Wow.
And, I'll never forget this. They took some tobacco sticks and stuck up on the end of the field to look like goalposts. But it was a beautiful thing. Fred Puckett, I haven't contacted him in years, but I will say this, Gallatin County, their football program, Youth League, took off, went good. They had it in the high school. Actually, I think they may have beat us in the high school by 1 year. But Gallatin County and Spencer County actually played against each other as high school teams. I don't remember if it was the second or third year that Spencer County had the program, and that was a great thing for me to go over there. Fred was there, and for me and him, he's pushing for the Gallatin County program. I'm pushing for the Spencer County program, and to bring those two together, man, and to stand there and watch this being played at the high school level, even today, it makes me kind of tear up, because a lot of people don't understand the struggle. It was a struggle.
Right.
It was an uphill battle. And like I said so many times, man, I just had to get down on my knees and pray, God, help me get this done. Help us do this. Show us how we're going to get there.
Those two programs should play every year.
Every year.
But,
We've only played twice. That's
the
interesting.
biggest.
Wow.
The biggest thing out of this is this, and this is the thing I want people to take from this. The one thing about football that I love is at the high school level especially, I can take that little bitty 124-pound kid and probably find a place for him to play. And I can take that kid over there that weighs 320. He ain't going to be playing basketball. He's probably not going to be playing baseball. But I can put him on a football team. So I can take this 124-pound kid, and I can take this 324-pound kid, and I can put them on a football team, and I can find a position that they can probably play. Make them feel like a part of the program, a part of the high school, a reason to be there, a reason to be proud to be there. And even beyond that, from Washington County High School, we used to argue between the football team and the band members. They called it a band field. We called it a football field. But we had a fabulous marching band at Washington County. They were great. They won a lot of competitions, and I love to hear them. When I'm out on the field and we're in between plays and I hear them guys up banging on them drums, and, man, my heart starts pounding out of my chest, and them cheerleaders over there jumping up and down and screaming. Hey, the love of it, man, the love of it. And, one of the things I said to the board when we're trying to get them to take it, I said, give our band an opportunity to showcase their talents somewhere besides the middle of Main Street once a year during the homecoming parade. Outside of that, nobody ever sees them. Let's give them a Friday night game. Let's see them get out there and do what they do, show their talent, and the dance teams and everything else. You know, they always going on about the money it costs. But if you go to Spencer County High School right now and look at it today, knowing what it looked like before, and see what football's done for it, I told you so.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I told you so.
That should be the name of this episode.
I told you so.
The money, I know the money that's taken up, you know, everybody's always about pulling money here, pulling money there, pulling money here. But I'm almost 100% certain that football program and the income from that football program is helping fund some other sports that would not have financial support. They all still have to do fundraisers, but so does football. You know, they do fundraisers every year. You know, without it, you don't have the stuff you need. You know, it's an unfortunate side of it. You know, the state government don't have deep pockets. We don't get money thrown at these programs. The kids have to get out and work, but there's nothing wrong with that. If you want it, work for it.
Work for it.
You know, put your sweat into it, and you will appreciate it more on the other side. You know, and that's just the way I look at that. If you want it, get out there and do what you got to do to have it, and you know, don't wait for it to happen. Make it happen.
Love it.
I love it, man. Hey, you had 3 questions you wanted to answer or ask, and he answered all of them before you even had to ask him. That's a phenomenal guess right there, guys.
Yeah. Except for one. Except
for the one. But yeah, do you got any more questions for him?
One more thing I'd like to put out there, and it was just the goal of the program and get it to happen. And one of the things that I approached the board, you know, all the counties around us have football program, football opportunity for the kids. Those are scholarship opportunities for those kids. Spencer County didn't have that. And that was one of the things I told them. We don't have this opportunity for our children in this county to get a college education off of a football scholarship, you know, and it's not fair to them, in my opinion. We need this program.
Yeah.
And since the program's been started, I can't give you exact numbers, but I can tell you this. I don't think that there's been a year go by, minus the first one, that at least 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 Spencer County football players were offered partial scholarships to university somewhere. I know one of the first ones went to a school. It was a Christian college.
Not Thomas St. Moore, was it?
It was their first year to have a college football program, and he was recruited from Spencer County. He was a receiver, and I know he was one of the first.
Was that Kentucky Christian University?
Might have been Lindsey Wilson.
No.
I don't think it
Because
was
they started up around that same time frame.
But
we'll have to dig into that later.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know he was scholarshiped, and that was the second year we had football. And this kid's scholarshiped, and since then there's been many, you know, partial scholarships. We've had, I think, 3 or maybe 4 kids go to D1 schools. You know, it's just done so much for our county. One of my buddies that came along, you know, after I started football, and he's got his own story. It's a great story. But it's how he came from Mississippi to Spencer County because his son would not move back home because he wanted to play football for the Spencer County Stallions. Whole nother story. But anyway, he told me one day, he said, AJ, you don't realize the impact you've made on this county. He said the monetary part of it, from not just the games, the businesses, you know, before game, after game, and all that. And I said, man, you know, I ain't never really worried about all that. He said, well, somebody ought to pay you. I said, I get paid every day. Every time I look up and see one of these kids that I've been associated with, they walk up to me in the grocery store, at the gas station, and they say, hey, Coach, I got paid.
I got paid.
I got paid.
Let's go. And you know what? I was just out at delivering out there to the Taco Bell out there delivering CO2. So I'm the bubble guy. Make sure you guys, hey, support your local bubble guy, man. The CO2 operators, man, are here. But all that business around there, that flourishes on Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
The Taco Bell, the McDonald's, everything that's right there in that area, they're making money off of that, and that's because of you. So that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal, man.
What a great story.
What a great story. Exactly. Just like our motto is, everyone has a story. You know what I mean? And that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And this is what you know what I mean? I'm fired up because I actually get to know why you are so fired up about being
one of the
from
things
Spencer County.
that we sit and we talk, and I want to be the person that I am, and say this: I sparked it, then it caught fire. The fire was flamed by many folks. I was sitting there striking the flints, trying to get it lit, and it finally took, and I had a bunch of other people go blowing on it, and helping, along the way. I can't even begin to mention their names. I know the names, but, I haven't asked them if I can mention their names, so I'll hold back. But if they ever want me to say their name on a podcast, if I ever come back, I'll shout you out. But without your permission, I ain't gonna do it because that's.
There you go. Hey, do you got any questions? Do you got questions?
It's
Yes.
a good time for this one. So you, as passionate as you were for football, what is it like for you as a dad seeing his passion for the same thing?
Oh, it's great. It's my family. My daughters, my grandsons. Watching him play in high school, and not knowing if I ever would be able to, because we didn't have a high school program when he was born. Didn't know if it ever happened. And just being able to watch him play, his sister, his brother, my older son, he didn't get the opportunity to play. It came in his senior year, and he said, I'm not going to sign up, just play 1 year. So he didn't. That was his choice. He's a sports guy, but he's hunting, fishing, football. Just
Man's man. He's not a football guy. He's a man's man, though.
He's got that country boy in him.
Yeah.
He did try football one time. Unfortunately, I put him in a youth league, and I don't blame him for not wanting to play because had a couple guys that really didn't need to be coaching kids. I won't call the team out or nothing, but I'm just saying it was not good. So he decided he wanted out of it, and I'm like, son, I don't blame you. So, that was the end of his football experience. He did not play his senior year because he said, Dad, I don't see the sense in doing it for just 1 year. And I'm like, son, that's your decision. You do what you want to do. And like I said, he'd rather be shooting at a deer or shooting an arrow at a fish or something like that. That's his thing, and
There you go.
And I'm proud of him.
Yeah, and not every, you know what I mean? And that's what I tell my guys. Not everybody's a football guy.
No.
You know what I mean? And that's fine. But go and find something that you're passionate about. And that's, and that's something that you can talk off the field. You know what I mean? Hey, that's fine. Just finish out the year. You know what I mean? But make sure you find something that you love and just go and do it.
Hey, off the mic, we kind of talked about that too. Like, there's nothing wrong with going military or skilled trades or whatever. Like, there's nothing wrong with being a good high school football player and choosing to go do something else.
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with it at all.
Exactly.
Well, most high school football players, we all know it, be a realist. Probably less than 2% will ever go to college. And out of that 2% to make it there, even a smaller percentage are going to go to the league.
Exactly.
We do have the spring football thing now, so that's going to give some more opportunity. You have the Canadian football leagues, you have the European football leagues. There's opportunities, but here's the thing: most of you ain't gonna make it, and I don't want to be a downer. If it's your dream, work for it. And I'm gonna tell you this: being good will not be good enough. You have got to put in the work. You have to stand out. You got to be a workhorse.
And you gotta, and actually at that next level, you're gonna learn that you gotta love this game to go through what you're going to. And I've never had the opportunity to do that, but if I did, I know that's a gut check time. Do you really love this game?
And 2 days aren't for everybody.
Exactly.
Aren't easy.
The one thing, and I never thought I'd have the opportunity to do it, but when I went back to college when I was 53 years old. Went to JCTC for 2 years, and then I transferred to finish my 4 year at Kentucky State University. It was close to home. I had heard a lot of good things about the school, and I went up there and I enrolled in college up there. Well, they had just hired a new head football coach, John L. Smith. And, I love football. I'm passionate about football. And I run into one of the assistant coaches during my
Orientation
thing, and I'm just standing out in the hall talking to him, and I'm like, man, if y'all need any help over there doing anything, hey, I'd like to help out, whatever. And he's like, oh, okay. He said, just go over to the field house and talk to Coach Smith. Okay, that's easy. Okay, that's what I do. So anyhow, went and talked to Coach Smith. Great guy. He was a coach at the University of Louisville down here for a long time. Had a lot of success there. He went to
Michigan State
and Arkansas.
He was an intern there when the whole.
But he been around. He's a great coach, and he ends up being he's hired in to coach at Kentucky State University. I go over and talk to him, and we sit and we're just gabbing about football, just kind of like we gabbing about football. And he's like, "Well, what is your passion? As far as football, what areas do you like to coach?" And I said, I like coaching the offensive line. If I'm going to be stuck in a one position, that's where I want to be. I like the whole line, and the reasons why. If you got that, you're gonna win. Plain simple. That's my football philosophy. If I got a good offensive line, I can take a pretty good quarterback and a pretty good running back, and I can play football with you. If I don't have a good offensive line, I can take a great quarterback and a great running back and probably not play football with you. We got to have that old line up front. We got to have those guys.
You got to have the hogs, baby. You got to have the hogs.
Yeah, there's your crankshaft and your pistons right there, man. They make the engine run. Without them, you're going to struggle. But fortunately, I was blessed. He gave me the opportunity. I coached up there for 3 years, offensive line, assistant coach, worked with special teams, worked with strength and conditioning and stuff like that. But the one thing I saw that I'd never seen before is the demand that is put on the college athlete. You better be ready to work. That's all I got to tell you. If you're going to go to college and you're going to play sports, I don't care if it's baseball, football, whatever, there's going to be a great demand on your time, and you're going to have to know how to manage that time in order to be successful. Because if you're not managing your time properly, you're either going to fail in the classroom or fail on the football field. And that's just the truth. It's a whole nother level. And, if you haven't been there or been a part of it, I don't really know how to explain it to you. But it's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call when you go from high school into a college. It was a D1 or a D2 school, Kentucky State. So I'm sure that at the D1 level, it's probably a little bit even more strenuous. But I know what it took from the kids up there, getting up at 4:30 in the morning so they could be there at 5:30 and then go to classes and then be back there at 5:30 that afternoon. It's a workload, and you better be ready for it.
There you go. Listen, you followed your dad. You know what I mean? You played football, but you told a story where your dad didn't play his senior year.
Yes.
You know what I mean? What was the reason behind that?
We're gonna touch on the subject here. I'll just put it out right. I loved football. I love my mom, my brothers, and my sisters. But I had a stepdad that was extremely abusive in the home. He and I could not get along. He didn't care for me playing any kind of sport. He thought the only thing I ought to do is work on the farm and loved doing that, which I didn't mind working on the farm, but I also wanted to play the football game. He kind of had this resentment toward me because of it. My mother said, you can't take his sports away from him. He's get one sport, and football was my sport. But it just, I was at the age where I was just not going to be pushed around, smacked around, and beat around anymore. And it got ugly between us. And I knew that if I didn't get out of there, it was going to get more ugly. So my choice was I left home. I just packed me up a bag and left. And I didn't go back and finish playing my senior year of high school. I hated that, especially because I wasn't a big guy, but I was fast, especially in a 40-yard dash. Now, the long-legged dude going to beat me in the 100, but in the 40, I had his ass. He wasn't going to get away from me. Now, and I was extremely stout, extremely strong. I felt like I had a good possibility at a small NAIA school or something like that if I wanted to go on and, play college ball. I felt like I had, the ability to do that. Possibly running back, some little crazy ass linebacker type position or something like that. I was a little bit nuts.
A little bit of anger in you.
Yeah. And that goes back to where you said, you had the anger, you had it, you know what I mean, and that gave you the release, of the playing this game of football.
The one thing, and I ain't comparing myself to Rudy Rudiger in any way, shape, form, or fashion, but I did kind of have that kind of passion at practice. I hated to see people assing around in practice because we want to get better. We want to get better. We want to be a good football team. Why are you over there goofing off? And when you come hit me, you better come and hit me. Don't let's no. That's I knock the shit out of you right now.
Yeah, let's go.
That's just the way I played the game.
Yeah.
We used to do these drills, fight for the ball, and it was just help build that aggression. Help build that hunger, help build that desire. And I loved it. Fight for the ball. Yes. I'm all for it, Coach. Let's go. Let's run this drill all day long. I love it. And a lot of people upset with me because they felt like I was a little bit too aggressive at it or whatever. But no. The only way I can make you better is give you my best. And the only way you can make me better is give me yours. And if you're not doing that, you're cheating me. And if I'm not doing that, I'm cheating you. So when you hit that field for practice, give it all. Show the coach you want to play. Show the coach you want the opportunity. Go out there and play it to make yourself better, practice to make your teammate better. And if you're not giving it your all, you ain't helping your guy. If he's not giving you his all, he ain't helping you.
There you go. And with you finishing, that senior year, you know what I mean? You said you finished it for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Take us through that moment because, now we know why, you say, I finished it for my dad.
Yeah, you're going to get me teary-eyed, but that's okay.
No, that's fine.
This is a topic I will get teary-eyed all the time.
That's fine, man.
Because I remember – so this is another thing we haven't talked on about our family. That mom had cancer the second time with that one, right? My senior year.
Son, when you go to talking about the cancer stuff, I can't. That was a period in our family. I know it happened.
Everything was so foggy.
But I had to, just some things you'd rather forget. And we've moved on from that. And when you try to, me and my wife talk about it from time to time. It's like trying to recall to then, but I can't remember. And it's not that it's just something maybe I don't want to remember it.
Exactly.
And
do you know why? Because I had that same thing.
Right.
Because my childhood, you know what I mean? Going to where I was and where I'm at now, why do I want to look back at that? You know what I mean? I'm not that person anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not in that situation.
Why they put them blinders on them thoroughbreds.
Yeah.
But
Keep going forward.
I was going to say, to get to that point, so about the senior night real quick before we go on to you. I got to try to cut him off. He'll talk all day, ladies and gentlemen. I'll let you know now. But now that I remember vividly because I believe Mom did. That was the second time she had cancer. And I tell you what, she's a spitfire of an old lady. She gets herself into anywhere she needs to.
Old woman, what you talking about? She my young
Getting
woman.
yourself in hot water now, buddy.
Oh, you're in trouble.
I'm always in trouble. What can I say? But no, I remember vividly. We're standing there, and I'm looking out into the field. Now, mind you, those field goal posts have my handprint in them. They've got his name in them. This is the full circle moment for me. And I've got my dad to my left and my mom to my right. And, we had, like you said, we had a lot of, there was a lot of scares. And I didn't know if either one of them would be there sometime for this. But here I am. I'm standing here, and I'm doing it now. I'm jumping back and forth. I'm like, holy crap, I'm doing something I have been dreaming for and wanting to finish since we started this whole thing all the way back when I was born in 1999. And I started bawling like a son of a gun. I'm not going to lie. But when I walked that field and we took that picture of us all standing next to each other, I felt a weight kind of come off my shoulders. It was like, I've done it. I've brought the legacy of what I think a Waldridge should be in football in Spencer County to where it should be, from beginning to end, giving it all you got. And sadly, we lost that game on senior night. But that very next game against Valley, it was in the playoffs. I played like my hair was on fire because I knew that was probably going to be the last time we played on that home field. And I'm like, if we're going to do this, I'm doing this full out. There ain't nothing left because you've got to give it all now. And I remember he said that's one of the few times he was actually proud of me because he's like, now you're playing football like you should play.
Why didn't you do that the other 10 games?
Yeah.
I was always proud of you, but, it's just be a dad and be a coach. And I try not to be the kind of dad that the minute the game was over, I'm running up to him, pointing out all the things you didn't do right. I didn't want to be that kind of dad. But we would discuss things later on. It's just me as a coach. And, I try to critique not so much to make him feel like he's not good enough, but to make him get better. I always say, if good enough is good enough, why do they have the word better? You can always get better. And be willing to open yourself up to some criticism. When somebody's trying to say, hey, look at this, and especially when you get in high school ball where they film it and everything, film don't lie. And you can look back and you say, okay, yeah, Dad was saying I was doing this. Look at it objectively and say, yeah, he was right. I'm looking in the wrong direction, or I'm letting my eyes go the wrong way. I'm taking the wrong first step, and just things like that. It may not seem like a little thing, but it's a difference between winning and losing a lot of times. That's one thing I always talk to the lineman about. One thing I can make 100%. If you take the wrong step, you will get beat. If you take the right step, it's a 50-50 chance you win. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Hey, let's go. Let's get to know you a little bit off the field as well. You know what I mean? You're the coach. You started at Spencer County. You said you went to the Marine Corps. You've done some things in your life. And I asked you before we got on. I was like, I'm just going to ask you this one question. It's like dealing with battles through life. What's your your life motto?
Well, the one thing I have to go to, and it's just something for me, is, treat people the way you want to be treated. If you treat somebody like crap, you can expect to be treated like crap. Treat them with kindness, you expect to be treated with kindness. I know when we were discussing that a little earlier, Dakota brought up one thing, and it's something that I want to instill in any young guys out there watching this or old men. It don't matter who you are. This is something I always kind of hung my hat on, and I talk to my kids about and tell them this throughout their life. You're either going to learn to struggle or you're going to struggle to learn, and you got to make up your mind which one it's going to be. Get out there, struggle to learn. You're still going to have struggles in your life, but the more you learn, the easier it is to get past those struggles. Just find ways around the mountains if you can't go over them. And, if you can't find a way around it, pick up a shovel and start shoveling your way through it. There's always a way. Nobody ever said life was going to be wine and roses. There were maybe people in the world that were born into that. Unfortunately, I don't think anybody sitting at this table is in that category. But it don't matter. We look at rich people and we think they're happy. But the truth of the matter is they're trying to figure out how to hang on to it because it disappears out of their bank account the same way it does ours. They're always wanting to try to put it back. They just got more of it to worry about than we do.
Hey, this has been a phenomenal episode, man.
I loved it.
Spitting knowledge right here. We have the father of Spencer County football, and now I get the thumbnail. Okay, now I get it. Now I don't have to question you. now, sitting here listening to these, you've probably heard these stories before. You know what I mean? But having this on a podcast and letting people, outside of the county really get to know your dad and what he stands for, it's phenomenal. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, I was going to say, we were talking about, who we're going to have for next week, last week and everything. And I know the story, the morals, and the foundation that he instilled into me. It's what's made me who I am today. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I like I said, I always try to live up to his standard, and his standard is excellence, basically, on all fronts of all occasions. So for me, like you said, now you understand where my passion for all this comes from. I wanted people to understand kind of through me vicariously that it all starts with him. And I think this shows what a great father, a great mother, a great parent in your life can instill into the young ones and then let everyone know. Because what is it Mr. Miyagi said? There's no such thing as a bad student, only bad teacher.
Right.
I am the apple. I am the seed from him.
That's one thing we was talking. He's a brand new daddy. He's got a set of twins, and there's going to be struggles. And trust me, man. There's nothing you can't overcome. I sound like a preacher, but a lot of times you just got to take some time to be silent and talk to that spirit and say, hey, help me out here. You seem like a great guy. I just met you for the first time. Having twins is a handful, brother. I can tell you, your shoulder muscles when you got the little carrier over here and the carrier over here, and you when you're walking down through the aisle at Walmart, you do this.
Yep. or playing the up-down game.
So, just raise them kids to be the kind of person that you would respect. And they'll respect you for it. Some people might, Dakota's son might go, they dad's, he's strict, he's mean. But, myself, I got to be honest, I didn't really have a great father figure in my life. So I had to learn on the road. Again, one of the greatest father figures in my life was Jimmy Reed. He was my head football coach at Washington County High School. I love that man for as long as I live. Coach Lee Glasscock, give a shout out. He was a big, strong man. He's gone through some struggles. He's had some issues with the cancer and stuff himself. But, just a great influence in my life. He was an offensive line coach. Get an understanding. When I played football at Washington County High School, I was 5'8" at best, standing on a pair of 1-inch cleats. I weighed about 155, 160 if I weighed right after lunch. And he calls me up right before our junior year, and he's like, AJ, I'd like to move you to the old line. I'm like, this man done lost his mind. You want to do what? You want a 155-pound, 5 foot nothing on the offensive line? Yeah. He said, "Will you make that move for me?" And I'm like, "Well, Coach, you put me where you want me. I'll play wherever. I'm gonna help the team. I don't care." So if you look at our offensive line, I've got one of the old rosters at home, and you got Andrew Linton and Tim Sidebottom and our centers, and from side to side, you like 230, 240, 300 and something, 215 or so, 155, playing right beside Tim Sidebottom, went about 310. Here's this little 155-pound runt standing beside the center and tackle, and I'm like, why in the world am I here? what's the purpose in this? But the one thing, when I played the game, I was into the weightlifting program, and Lord, I loved lifting weights back then. The one thing I can say, and there was an article in the paper that Coach Glasscock put in because he was kind of the strength training coach, and the weights made a big difference. And if you're a high school kid looking to go somewhere, get on them weights and stay on them. I'm just going to preach it. It's going to put you there. You got to get after them. But our front line, everybody on the line, including my little lightweight butt, we were all squat lifting over 450 pounds, every one of us, in high school age kids. Andrew Linton, he played at Eastern Kentucky University. I think Andrew at the time was probably squatting like 545. Tim Sidebottom played left tackle beside me. He was a big, strong leg guy. He was in 5'10", 5'15". But all of us were over 450. And my little 510-pound squat. And I could run a 40 pretty damn fast. And I didn't love nothing more than hitting somebody.
I bet you were a hell of a pulling guard, baby.
That's exactly where we went. And that was my purpose. That's why they put me there, because I had the speed to get out and get around. Plus, I was short. I could kind of hide behind everybody, and these linebackers didn't see my little butt coming. When then 58 comes around the corner and, when the linebacker's out of play, he's done. But I went heads up a lot against guys. One thing I learned was leverage. The big guy, he can't get no lower than I can. I'm just going to be straight up. I'm going to get under him, and I'm going to get the weight off his feet, and his feet's going to be doing this. And he's going nowhere, and I made the great block. It's all about
You
leverage.
got good film. There you go.
Yes.
So I could Coach Glasscock, shout out to Coach Glasscock again. He went back and took all them old reel-to-reels. We had the flicker. The tapes running. That's what we had back then. And he went back and dug a bunch of them old tapes out and had somebody to work with him and put them on a CD. And it's kind of hard to watch because it flickers, and when they transferred it, it did some weird stuff, play strict with your eyes, but I hadn't seen those things for years, and he gave it to us. Let's see, 79 was the year that we was one game short of the high school state championship, got beat out by Fort Campbell military school. But anyway, we was the winningest football team ever to go through Washington County High School and still are to this day, so we had a 40-year
reunion.
Football team reunion.
Yeah.
And Coach Glasscock had gone back and taken all these old reel-to-reels and put them on CDs and to give each one of us a copy. That's something special to go back and look at them, especially with my son. And, he's being able to see some of the things that I told him that I did when I played. So he sees that it's not a bunch of poppycock. No, Dad's been lying to me, about what he could do and how he pushed around guys bigger than him and stuff. But, just great thing. And, again, my love for the sport, it drove me to get it. And it gave me that hunger and that fire to keep pushing, to get it into the Spencer County school system, because I know what it did for me. If it hadn't been for football and for people in my life, my first football coach, Tom Harmon, I didn't have the money to buy football cleats. We was poor, man. We didn't have no money. He wanted me to play football. I said, I don't know how. He said, listen, I can teach you how to play. He said, a lot of guys think they know how, and I can't teach them nothing, but I can teach you how to play. That was my first ever football coach, Tom Harmon. And I didn't have money to buy cleats, so I was playing football in my tennis shoes. And he goes out and he buys me a pair of cleats. And that's the first pair of cleats I ever owned in my life. And he bought them for me, just people like that. And, those people are still out there today. They're still out there today. I know my wife and I, when we started the youth program, sometime we would have a kid come up and he didn't have this or he didn't have that. We would find a way to get it. We would find a way to get it. I go up and ask people, I said, look, we got a kid, he needs this, he needs that. His parents, they just can't, and they, oh, I got it. And, it just, people are so willing to give. Coach Tom Harmon, he gave to me. Coach Glasscock, Coach Reed, they gave to me. And it wasn't something you could grasp. it was the time that they spent with me, the conversations they had with me. You know, they helped me grow and helped me become the person I am today.
Well, you know what? I appreciate you very, very much taking this time out and really telling your story. And that's our motto, man. We want to give this platform, you know, for you to tell it, man. It's phenomenal. And everybody, please like this, share this out, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are almost at 1,500 subscribers. We're like 300 away. Yeah. We are growing, so just bear with us, man. We have some great content, and this episode was absolutely phenomenal.
A great kickstart for the next 4 weeks.
Yes. So, you know, Dakota, one word to describe this episode.
Cherishing.
One word.
Love.
Mine would be legend.
I don't want to be put on that pedestal.
There you go. But it's phenomenal. It's a great story. Do you got one last question?
No, I really
No.
I'm just blown away.
We just sat here and we really enjoyed the story time. Evolving
Evolution.
Yeah,
Evolution.
The evolution of Spencer County football back from a little tiny trophy.
Yeah.
In a trophy case. So it's a phenomenal episode. You know what? We're going to end it right here, man. Like we always say, everyone has a story.
We're here for them to tell it.
Cleats to Whistle podcast.
Let's go.